thank you for joining us and this morning we have special guests University of Portland, USA. But first, before we join this class, we will have some greetings from our head of department. This is Juni, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Hari ini kita DTEO'S Lecture Series yang ke-7 di semester ini. Alhamdulillah sudah terlaksana dengan baik. Terima kasih juga oleh tim Humas. Nah, tim Humasnya ini sangat gercep ya, membantu setiap kegiatan ini. Jadi kegiatan ini sebenarnya kita memfasilitasi kalian semua supaya bisa mengetahui baik industri di luar itu seperti apa, atau mengetahui kalau di kampus luar itu seperti apa. Paham ya? Jadi manfaatkan dengan baik, yang online juga manfaatkan belajarnya dengan baik. Kemudian and so thank you Profesor Salehin in this Ph.D. And we are apologize if during activity and some error or mistakes gitu. And then once again welcome Profesor Khondaker Musfakus Salehin to this Department of Electrical Automation Engineering. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mrs. Juni. This is Assistant Professor Salehin at Selasa. My name is Selasa. I will accompany you as a moderator at this guest lecture. So guys, this morning we have a special topic. This is a current estimation of end-to-end path delay without instrumentation. And Associate Professor Salehin have a research topic in the measurements of the drawing. So this is in our department is also important because we also measure the network for IoT instrumentation. So please welcome Assistant Professor Salehin. Time is yours.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone, especially Department Head, you for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with you. I'm very happy to be here. The thing is that I'm from University of Portland. It's a small institution, private institution. We have around 3,500 students. The university has small schools and big schools as well. So this is very teaching oriented, and we have a lot of research. So I'm going to be explaining my research activities and then see if I can get any question during my talk. Then I'm going to be saying again that if you have any question, feel free to interrupt me. Otherwise, we have a lot of time on the talk to take questions. Okay? Now, this is the outline for today's talk. I will start off with a very basic introduction of my research expertise in network measurement. Then I'm going to be talking about the topic of today's presentation, is accurate estimation of end-to-end applied instrumentation. Then in the following segment, I will be talking about the parameter that is used to improve delay estimation performance. So the talk is going to be gravitating around how we can measure path delay over the internet or inside the internet in a highly accurate manner. Then in the following segment, I will be talking about another delay-related parameter, queuing delay, to see how we can measure it and how we can improve the delay estimation. Before finishing the talk, I will also talk about my future research directions, what I'm currently doing and trying to do in the future. And again, as I told you, I'll try to finish everything in maybe 45 to 50 minutes, and I'll try to talk slow. During the talk, you can interrupt me if you want. Otherwise, at the end of the talk, I'll be open to take your questions, and I'll try to answer your questions to the best of my capacity. Okay, so now network measurement. When we are talking about network measurement, is all about the characterization of the internet environment. As we know, internet is the primary communications infrastructure nowadays, and this is defined by multiple various network parameters. Oftentimes, it will be useful, for example, to know the capacities of the links, to identify the infrastructural capabilities of the network. So in this case, I'm talking about measuring the link capacity and its performance. Some other time, I may want to know how much of a delay that application packet requires to travel over an internet packet. So here, I'm talking about delay and estimation. Now let's take a practical example. Assume that I'm watching a YouTube video and I'd like to call myself out a workaholic, even though I'm actually not the case, I'm just 21. I'm thinking about downloading a very large file from the internet. So the goal is that I'm going to be running two different applications at the same time in parallel. Therefore, there's a possibility that my user experience in watching the YouTube video will be great. And that can only be determined if I know the amount of unused capacity that I have on the link that connects my station to the internet. So here I'm talking about measuring available traffic and measure. So using these three examples, what I was trying to establish is that network measurement is all about determining the qualitative state of the networks so that we can utilize the network resources for the optimal usage or user experience of the clients. Now, I have mentioned a few network parameters. There are actually many more. And all these parameters can be estimated by means of two broad measurement methodologies. One is passive measurement, the other one is active measurement. Now, if I'm measuring a parameter through passive measurement, then I will be connecting specialized hardware equipment to the point of measurement or estimation, and then collect data sample from the ongoing data traffic over the packet. In this case, I require a high level of infrastructural support and administrative access to the networks. We also have to understand the data sample that we are collecting, the passive measurement, is relatively large. Therefore, I have to use a complex statistical inference technique to come up with an estimate. Now, if I rather estimate the same parameter through active measurement, then I'll just have a client software process and a server software process running on the end stations, for example, workstations. Then the software processes will exchange synthetic packets. We also call them as probing packets. These probing packets will generate data sample. And here the data sample is small, therefore the sample is simple. On top of everything, I do not require a high level of infrastructural support and administrative access. This is the reason why active measurement is more popular than passive measurement. For the rest of my talk, I will be emphasizing primarily on active measurement. To be more precise, it will be on the active measurement of end-to-end delays. I already mentioned that delay refers to the amount of time an application packet requires to travel from a source node to a destination node over a path, and this parameter is conventionally estimated by means of a tool called Teknik, which is widely available in all operating systems. For example, Windows PC or Mac OS. So the figure on this slide that you are seeing here is basically illustrating a ping-based delay estimation where the source and destination are connected by means of a signal. Here, the source node is generating a ping packet, basically it's a specialized packet known as ICMP packet, and then sends it down through the link. Before sending it down through the link, the source node puts a timestamp on it. Then the packet travels along the path and received by the destination node. Upon receiving it, the destination node puts another timestamp on it. Then from the difference of the two timestamps, we will be able to know the delay over the end-to-end path defined between the source and destination nodes. Now, please, if you look into the figure carefully, right, there are some parameters that define delay over end-to-end path. But I'm going to step back a little bit more and want to give you the definition which is defined by request for comment, these are like standard documents, 7679, that identifies what are the parameters that should define delay over time. And there are three parameters. One is transmission time, which is dependent on the capacity of the link. The other one is propagation time, which is dependent on the physical distance between the source and destination node. And finally, queuing delay, which is dependent on the cross-traffic load along the path, if there is any. Now, I want you to look back into the figure one more time. The figure basically is telling me there are additional parameters in it in the end stations, host time at source and host time at destination. That means pin-based delay estimation is errorless because it has additional parameters. Now my goal here is that I want to improve this pin-based delay estimation first by measuring the host times of the destination and then deducting this host times from the pin-based delay estimation to provide an accurate measure. Okay. Now, before going into the scheme for measuring host time, let's step back a little bit to know why accurate delay estimation is useful. I'm going to give you three different examples. First one is very simple, very theoretical. It says that if I'm measuring queuing delay in local area network, and I have 2 microseconds of host times at the end stations, using 40 peptide packet with a measurement over 100 Mbps links, the measurement error in pin-based estimation can be up to 5%. And this error is going to be increasing up to 40% if we are using a higher transmission speed, for example, 1 gigabits per second. But the second example is that maybe you have financial trading and trying to we like to buy stocks and other things. In financial trading, this is a very delay sensitive application. Only 1 microsecond of additional delay can income a huge amount of volume. That's why we need very highly delay estimation. Now, the big one is practical and critical, and which is what, and this is the application that we always use about moving devices. It's IP geolocation. Using IP geolocation, what we do is that we try to pinpoint the geolocation position of a network device. The network device will be here. And then the geolocation is performed by means of a method which is known as triangulation. In triangulation, we have 3 different reference nodes, and then we measure delays toward the target device. And then using the delay value, we do a 3 concentric circles to identify the overlapping region, which eventually pinpoints the geographic position of the target device. But the thing is that if the delay estimation is error, the possibility is that with 1 microsecond added delay can incur 200-meter error in location. So using this three example, I try to establish why accurate delay estimation is essential. Now I'm going to go back to the conversation where I want to measure this time, but I'm going to be using the time cost. Now, either I'm going to be replacing it with a more technical term that I might ask, okay, for the same time, PPT. And the definition of PPT is something else. This is basically the interval with the combined data path that network interface from the end station and with this being timestamp by operating system. The figure that we're seeing here on this slide is the figure that we have seen just before. Whenever it contains more detailed information in terms of the network architecture in the end stations. Now, for this conversation today, let's not worry about this detailed information. The only thing that you need to know is that layer 2 is my network interface card, layer 4 is my operating system. Now, it may seem that the measurement PPT can be done. We are just collecting timestamps in layer 2 and layer 4. But let me tell you this measurement of PPT is a complex business. And let me tell you, in order to work stations from timestamping facilities both at layer 2 and layer 4 because it only provides at layer operating system. Now, for the sake of measurement, we can circumvent this problem by instrumentation and the specialized database that will generate timestamp at layer 2. Right? And we have to timestamp, we'll be able to measure it. But these two references, the operating system and specialized database cleaner, will use two different point sources. Therefore, there's a possibility we'll end up getting into a very hard problem, which is known as clock synchronization. Clock synchronization is something like this. If I tell you, okay, what is the time on your book, on your watch? You'll say maybe it's like 10 o'clock, like 10:20 p.m. AM. But my clock is saying 10:20, 10:19 AM. There's a 1 second difference. So the difference is because we are two different groups. So this is one of the hardest. Let's assume we can solve this synchronization because there are like protocols available, schemes available with which you can solve the synchronization problem with some, understand resolution. But even if we solve this problem, question still remains: how are we going to be measuring PPT of an end station if the end station is remotely located somewhere else? Let's say I'm sitting at Portland, Oregon, and I want to know, measure the PPT, the station, which is connected to ETS cards. How am I going to measure it? I cannot put a networking, specialized network interface code because I don't know the access. So that's the question: how are we going? We do not want any kind of instrumentation. So without instrumentation, say measuring scheme, and the scheme is significant. Here you will see I have a multiple path where the source and destination nodes are connected by multiple links. And the destination node is by node under text. This is the station located in some or on ETS cards. So in my case, something is very simple. So what I do is that set source node destination structure that I call as um, consisting of a large unit at the pH by smooth training that in PT to measure the intermediate gap, anything else on end that connects the destination node to the end to end. And when I measure the interval gap, my idea is that I will measure the capacity of the end also, and then I use the ambient capacity value to extract PPT destination. Now, I also want to say that when I'm talking about interval gap, this is basically the difference between the arrival, the last bit of pH, and the last bit. To put it in a more structured way, I have put together an equation for the integral gap. This slide, I'm saying the integral gap is GS. In the equation on the right side, the right hand side, there are two terms. First term is
Ini kan sensitif,
something.
banyak ini.
The capacity of the transmission time of the trading packet, whereas S sub T is the size of the trading packet, and C sub N is the capacity of the N link L sub N. And the second term is delta PPT, I call it as differential. This is basically the variations in generating the timestamps for the heading and tail trading packet as they are being received by the destination. Right? Now the thing is that when I'm measuring, I'm actually not sending only one compound row. I'm sending two compound rows toward the destination side, consisting of two different trading packet sizes. Let's say they are S sub 1 and S sub 2. And when I measure the corresponding integral gaps and I plot them against the trading packet sizes, I find a linear relationship as you were seeing in the bottom bar slide.
The swing band is the information about the handling capacity and also was the information about the differential T. The thing is that I don't want to know differential T because I want to know the individual packet and both for the heading and trailing packets. Long story short, what I want to tell you is that I have a mathematical model based on first in hypercubing that considers all the events, the numbers, whether the bound is being received by the destination node, that is the heading packet I'm trying to get. And then it also considers the inter-arrivals of the two compounds to determine unconfounded packet processing time, both in the heading and trailing. From that we have a scheme. I have evaluated the scheme to experimental implementation. Then the slide basically shows the full end-to-end path that I have designed, where the destination node is the node under test, and I have four intermediates. And to induce to emulate a real life environment, I have introduced two corresponding tools in the second and third phase. And these corresponding tools are basically corresponding tools, and these laws vary between 0 to 9% of the corresponding link capacities of along with that. Now, actually, we want to test the traffic model that I have used. I have used instant feedback packet sizes. 62 bytes and 128 bytes. The thing is that I want to induce as much challenging scenarios as possible when I'm doing the evaluation. I have measured frequently on the destination node on the path using different path configurations by varying the link capacities of the full links. And configurations, we call them as C110, C200, C300, and C400. So when I'm talking about C110, I'm referring to the first path configuration with an N-link capacity. So 10 Mbps. When I'm talking about C200, I'm referring to the second path configuration with an N-link capacity of 100 Mbps. So you basically understand that I have evaluated my scheme under two different transmission speeds, the N-link, 10 Mbps, and 100 Mbps. Now, for the sizing of the component, which is very important, I'm using around 1,500 bytes in the heading packet. This is one of the largest packet sizes that I can use in IPv4 protocol that is used on the internet pre-download. For the training packet sizes, I'm using 87 bytes and a million bytes. And these two packet sizes have been determined based on the full resolutions that are available in the Linux systems. I have very PPT on the destination node using two monitoring workstations. One is still dimension 300, I was calling as D3000. The other one is still in spirit I531S. Then spirit I531S, I also put it as I531S. The detailed specifications of the workstations are available in the table at this time. The only thing that I want to emphasize here, and I'm doing the experimental integration, I'm not using any specialized devices to carry experiments over measurements. Okay? The slide there here at the bottom as the table. This table summarizes all the measurements that are in end-to-end path in the 10 minutes for the D3000 and I531 workstations. Now, in this stage, columns PPDH and PPDT to the packet processing time, the heading and trailing packets, but for the ease of the representation of my data, I have also included the last column, I call it as PPD average. This is basically the average packet processing between the heading and the heading. Now, if you look into the table very parallelly, you will basically understand the 10 Mbps transmission speed for both workstations, D3000 and 9531 workstations. Measured packet processing time is around 20 microseconds. Under 100 Mbps transmission speeds, for both of these workstations, the measured values are 5 microseconds. So the thing is that I can say that the measurement is consistent, but for the consistency, I have another set of experiments in the internet environments. I have used same stations over two different internet apps, one between New York and New Jersey, rather say New Jersey to New York, and another from in between New Jersey to New Jersey, and under transmission speeds and four workstations, measured transmission. The measured packet processing times are in and out 20 microseconds and 5 microseconds. So the measured values are similar. Consistency is there. I can say that the scheme can measure PPT, which is fast, irrespective of the traffic conditions on the internet, in the internet. Now the thing is that consistency is when we are measuring something, one of the most important thing is to know is the accuracy of measure. How do I do it? Right. To determine the accuracy of the scheme, covered with an instrumentation based scheme to estimate the ground truth PBT for D3000 and I5000 stages. When I compare the ground truth values with the values that we're seeing here, we found out that under 10 Mbps speed, the accuracy is around 80%. 100 Mbps transmission speed, this accuracy is around 60%. Now I can say accuracy is actually not that good with 100 Mbps transmission speed, but my argument is this is the first year that we measure PBT with or without instrumentation. That's the first argument. The second argument is that maybe this error is coming from the validation scheme, instrumentation base that I have used to determine ground truth PBT. Now I'm going to take it to the next slide to reinforce my statement that the error is actually coming in the validation scheme. The figure on this slide basically represents the experimental set, my validation scheme, where the destination nodes and the measurement I'm doing is that I'm exchanging HTML request and reply packets between the source and destination node. You are also saying this destination node, the end nodes are connected by means of a delta, which is also connected with the hardware packet state. Hardware packet state is basically commodity workstation, which is instrumented where then specialized that into this. Like here is using the hardware packet state. Generating timestamps at layer 2. So during the exchange process of the requests and reply packets, what I'm doing is that I'm generating timestamp to the destination node using the operating system. Since the distance between the source and destination nodes, it will give us an impression that I'm generating the timestamp when using the hardware packet scheme as if I'm generating timestamp as if the request packet is just entering into the destination and the reply packet is just coming to the destination. Now, when I take the time difference generated, the times using the timestamps generated by the operating system, and take the difference of them, I get a large interval. This large interval contains packet processing time for the request packet processing time for the reply packet generation time, like I said, because when the host gets the request packet, it has to generate the reply packet. it is possible to know the generation time of the reply packet because I'm getting the timestamp using the hardware packet signal. So when I remove packet generation to this interval and divide the remaining interval by 2, I get an approximation of the BPT and the destination. But here I have a limitation. Limitation is that I'm assuming that the packet for same time will be his and reply packets. They are symmetric, they're same. But there is no such component way that it could be seen. Maybe packet was time, but any packet is larger than the trailing requires groups. So this is the error, maybe that is contributing to the error calculation, the scheme that I have presented on the previous slide. Okay, so and again, I'm going to be saying that maybe the measurement I'm doing is not going to be complete, but actually measuring normally as well. There are all the target research. So there is so much that I have to talk about processing. But let's move on to the next delay, which is killing delay is very important. I already mentioned that delay refers to the amount of time a data packet requires to travel over the to be more precise, I'm going to be saying that delay or queuing delay is basically the amount of waiting time in the data packet inside. And I'm going to be expanding on the definition using the two illustrations that I have used. So the figure on the left hand side, the illustration on the left hand side, shows lines around your eyes, seeing multiple links. At this instance, the line is carrying in one trajectory coming from the input link L sub N and making exit through the output link L sub. So when a packet P1 arrives into the input queue with the output link through this flow, the packet will be immediately transmitted output to the output. At this instance, there is no waiting time because there is no queuing delay. For another, there is no queuing delay because there is no waiting time on the packet. But I have different instances of that one. The same one is carrying two different flows. One coming from the thing else and other coming from the thing else. So when the packet P1 arrives at queue, it already encounters a constructed flow series. Now P1 has to wait for transmission C1 and when it gets its chance for transmission to the output. So there's an additional waiting time, and that is going to be proportional to the transmission time of the which we magazine. This is killing. All I'm trying to say here, using these two illustrations, is that giving less dynamic. Anything dynamic is going to be playing the net if we want to measure. The good thing about keeping the measurement is that there are plenty of schemes available the estimation. For this conversation today, I'm only two different methods or schemes under passive and active measurement queuing. And I first talk about passive. The first one that I'm going to be mentioning about is the ground instrumentation based measurement of queuing. In this case, what happens is that we connect specialized measurement equipment or packet sticker to the input and output links of the routers, and then collect data samples. Use some statistical processing to come up with an estimate. The downside or drawback of this method or scheme is that it can only provide single measurement. Why is that so? Because we have to have direct access to order of measurement. Now, the only solution that I'm going to be talking about under this category is known as the SDM-based solution. I know it's very much architecture specific, software defined, and it's not going to be that much feasible if you want to do the measure, if you want to do large scale. In printed measurement, quality share is similar to the better scheme the estimated queuing delay, and the measurement method is overall the system. It sends individualized ICP packets to each and every round path to determine the corresponding variations. Using the variation values in performs by measurement or part of queuing delay measurement. Then I also want to mention about another variant for first scheme in measurement, which is the same. This is very similar to on-chain measurement. Instead of sending individualized ICP packets, it sends pairs of ICP packets. And then it looks into the variations of the pairs of ICP packets to determine queuing delay and mobile. Again, they are ICP packet-based measurement, and there are research available that demonstrate that any type of measurement that we perform using ICP is not that much reliable because feasibility is very limited. If you send ICP packets to a network, there's a possibility that the ICP packet will be destroyed and for security purposes. So if I want to summarize this method in single sentence, all the schemes require a high level of infrastructure support and system development. So we require either instrumentation or access. My goal is that we don't want to use any of these features. We want to do it more independently without any kind of instrumentation. And then in that class, I'm going to be explaining my scheme using a very simple scenario, single log measure. Then I'm going to be expanding the idea, basic principle, over multiple measures. Now, let's assume that I have access to, I want to measure queuing with 1.5, and I know the link capacities of its input link LCN and LC, output link LC-. But same with the measurement, I'll send that in same compound from the input link to the output link using a different configuration. That means I'll use a scaling impact pH followed by a large failure. So when the packet is transmitted to the to the output link because of the variations, size of the heading and trailing packet, I will see a dispersion gap in the interval gap. And I'm going to be calling this interval gap with the dispersion as expected gap because I know the sizes, the heading and trailing packets, and I know the capacities. Now, during the transmission of the compound in the same is carrying the strong data. So there is a possibility that my compound will get turned on with the constructed packet. A scenario like this can form where the heading packet can come out with the constructed packet. See now the heading packet has to wait for the transmission of the packet, and by the time the heading and trailing packet are transmitted out to the link, we will see a compression in the interflow gap. Now, if I can measure that first interflow gap, and I know the expected interflow gap, the differentiation of the two, I will be able to know the queuing delay in round time. So this is the basic principle. But if I want to extend this idea for multiple measurement, I'm going to be telling you it's going to be a challenging position. Challenging. This slide shows the path, multiple hub path consisting of elements, and it has n different like n minus 2 values. All the intermediate nodes that I'm showing, they are managed what I want to do in measurement. But the problem is that in typical path measurement, we have to deal with heterogeneous link capacities. I cannot say that all the link capacities is going to be 100 Mbps or 1 gigabits per second. Right? Now, to tackle this problem, I have modified my schema like the basic structure. So instead of just sending a heading packet, a small heading packet, by large trailing I'm sending a very large TTL redundant packet. I call it as P1. And by TTL, I wanted to tell you this is basically a very specific feature in packets. It has time to link. I'm going to extend the idea a little bit more in detail to tell you that I think that I'm measuring tuning the length like every level of time, right? And I have access to the source and destination nodes. And for this class, I'm sending compound with redundant packet of TTL with TTL value I to the destination and give the passage of the compound at each and every intermediate line, the TTL value will be reduced by 1. Now, by the time compound arrives to the point of measurement that is rather high, the TTL value will be reduced to 0. And when this is reduced to 0, the router will jump the packets. And then it will give them any and trailing packet the chance to create the expected gap on the output link with router I. The thing is that I'm going to measure interpret gap on output link L-sum I. So I'm going to have access. So I'm collecting these packets at the destination node and timestamp to calculate the interpret gap, which provides cumulative queuing delays on two routes, starting from router I to the very last one that is directly connected to the destination node. The thing is that I want to measure queuing delay on router I, but how am I going to be doing it? The first, I need to know the individual queuing delays for all subsequent routers to the router I. So what I did is that I started measuring queuing delay for the very last one. Then I started measuring queuing delay for the router before, then router before, and I finished with my measuring queuing delay on the very first router that is directly connected to the destination. So the guide explore of that and so on. So this is not quite. I also want to tell you, when I'm doing the measurement, and you understand to know the expected interval gaps from each and every and the link capacity values of the links. But the good news is that there are multiple schemes available with which you can measure individual link capacities just by having access to the source node and destination. Okay, this is the only limitation that I have, but the limitation is okay. I can evaluate the scale and through pure simulation. And queuing delay is a dynamic network parameter. When actual queuing delay in the experimental setting is very high. So if you look at the literature, most of the time people are using pure simulation. And that is not very helpful. Before the simulation purposes, I'm using this conventional path, and I'm having 3 rounds in between. And the links are defined as separate links. For the measurement, I'm using 64 bytes in the heading packet, and I'm using different training packets just to know how the scheme is going to be performing if I do the measurement using different packets. And also, I have to have a very large redundant packet, and the size there was used as it was. And from each of these training packets, which are 800 bytes, 1,000 bytes, 1,200 bytes, 59 bytes, using 1,000 probing purposes just to get a statistical. Well, for measurement of queuing, I have induced some predefined queuing delays by applying multiple constructed views, as you were seeing in the figure. And this asymmetric queuing mode that I'm generating, I see predefined queuing delays that are 11 plus minus 9 seconds, 8 plus minus 8 plus 9 seconds, and 6 plus minus 7 seconds. Now, in this induced queuing delays, first number is basically my average queuing delay that I induced, and the second number is my standard deviation. So what is variation plus minus? Now, because in this slide, I have three different groups for three different graphs, three different groups. In this groups, the x-axis is the size of the training bags that I have used in my moving projects. The y-axis provides the queuing groups. In these graphs, the square represent the actual queuing delays that I have used in my computer simulation. And the blue circles are my measured queuing delays by the scale. You also see the whiskers for the boxes and circles. They are basically the variations, standard deviations of the queuing delay. If you look into the figure very carefully, you will see that the measured queuing delays are highly overlapping with the actual queuing delays. And I'm going to define or hold this high level of overlap as I single measure. Why is that so? Queuing delay is a dynamic network. That's why we have to look into the standard deviation. Any kind of point estimate is not going to give you enough information for queuing delay. For example, when I'm talking about point estimate, I'm talking about we could take mean, we could take mode, or average. It's actually going to provide any kind of information. The other take only is experience maps. The accuracy of the scale is not dependent on the sizing of the training. And this basically tells me that I can measure queuing names of scale consistently, and the measurement is formless and identical. So that's pretty much it that I want to tell you about the research that I've used. Talk about the research you mentioned. And I am engaged on these days. The first thing that I want to talk about is blockchain. You know, blockchain is a database that is immutable and it provides transparency. So I have worked with collaborators to know how to solve environmental sustainability issues. For example, how can we have a reliable connection really recording capture and storage using on-chain infrastructure, or how we can influence state management by using on-chain infrastructure. The other stream of research that I'm currently engaged in is quantum computing. Maybe 20, 30 years, 40 years from now, there will not be the network that we are using, the computer that we are using, everything will be based on quantum computing. That means we are going to look into quantum key distribution, or we want to know the security issues, like if there's an eavesdropping in between a pair of nodes, source or destination node, how can we detect it for the purpose of security privacy? I also want to mention that we have been working on queuing and measurement. As you see, the research involves primarily based on pure simulation. I'm very much into doing test bank in internet and experiments. And once that is done, I want to integrate the scheme, the system level. So everyone who has access to the net to a computer will be able to perform queuing and measurement without any kind of instrumentation. While you have to set down and something PPT measurements, all the scheme is only valid for wired networks. I did not look into wireless networks, but wireless devices are prevalent these days. But the thing is that if you have to measure the PPT in wireless networks, it's going to be a challenge because packet transmission technologies in wired and wireless networks are significantly different. Long story short, maybe you have to come up with a new scheme in measuring PPT in wireless networks. Okay. Now, I just want to tell you that I love to work with students. These are some of the names that are from different institutions. students when I have done some research and published in the most recent student is Sia. He was University of Oslo. I also had a chance to work with the student ETS. Did not she did some more IoT using genetic algorithms. And I also worked with the students and learn language and interests with technology. So there's a mix of planning and student. I'm open to work with anybody who has good ideas that contribute to my expertise. Um, tell you very merci for being putting up with me for this much. If you have any questions right now, we'll be very happy to answer. Thank you very much.
Very much with the there any question? Maybe in Zoom. Okay, that's questions for the what's it?
Um, Hi, my name is Muhammad. I have one question for you. This is about second 20 megabytes second. Can you tell me how it works? Like, why is there multiple choice for internet speed?
In my experience.
Yes.
So the thing is that I've used different types of data capacities based on the resources I have in the band adjustment. And when I did the internet speed, different magnetic they were different on bands. So I mentioned that I with the PPT band, I did I used like two different bands, one between New Jersey and New York, one was between New Jersey and Ireland. And I had no idea what is the speed that I use. But when I use like 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps, so if I go there, didn't mention about the frequency values, so they use 150 and link to here I use 100 Mbps. Lately, it's because of the attachment I have those speeds that I have because the routers have full for 155 and Mbps. I don't think I have 1 gigabits per second. That's the reason. It's always possible to do like experiments using different gigabits.
So, can you like, do you know why they have different speed?
Okay.
Like,
Yes. Well, 10 megabits per second are usually not available these days, even though not and that part all the routers are better. It also has to do with the I mean infrastructure and how much do you
there, providing with the different speed, how is it organization?
I mean, you can say something like that. You go to the group by some rules are there, some rules rules what it build the space and how to build the infrastructure. People are trying to upgrade when they upgrade and they have to replace the devices sometimes. Replace the infrastructure and the infrastructure is not very okay. So people are moving to like higher speeds. In the backbone, right now maybe see 40 gigabytes per second. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, or at the beginning of the inception of internet, maybe 10 megabits per second was possible. But nowadays, this is almost. But again, it all depends on how much money that you have to build the infrastructure. So when that and when I about or tell them there's survey of activity in which your life is there's yeah. So I see the 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 thousand see yeah the city so it says the age PPT is 5 and PPT is 3 and the average um so if I can by the formula uh only about CFP it says to bear life and it's sorry, but yeah quite important that this it has to do with the resolution. You know, it's like millisecond, microsecond resolution. You have to lose the resolution. So I just reading on to the next one. Okay, guys. But you see, 100 is 6 and for the is 86 and the minute is 1. And the average is 3. There's that one variation. For the sigma 100, sigma 100, yeah. I think it's 86 and the intensity is 1 and the average is 3. Why is it not 1? So it's like 3 plus blue is red, and then what 2 is 2.5. So I rounded up to the next big digit, which is 3. Okay, I'm sorry for the D to the 2002 in the C 400. Is it sorry, below the 6 plus 1, it should be 7, then it should have 1 7. Thank you. Because you can have to round it out. 6 plus 1 is going to be 7. 7 over 2 is going to be 3.5. But again, as is, it's not average class. Okay, all this stuff. Right. I think so. In our kind of participants that we have also networking for being this about QoS for the services, but sometimes we also predict the quality of service by machine learning. Yes, then signal, for example, a reservation with our student with you. So these two students recently work on STIA and this. We use clustering method to estimate queuing costs and collect inter idea is that how valuable to be knowing that which sample is common with this. I use chemist clustering algorithm to determine queuing. So there are possibilities that people are using. Thank you. So it's possible. Besides chemists, we also make some predictions about the delay the next time. Yes. With the supervised learning. Yes. And also, I think it's possible. Yeah. Based on what is it? Maybe for example, I was going to tell you this method that I was talking about. Check. They also use statistical method prediction regression becoming more only giving the capacity, available bandwidth, something. So there are possibilities to apply machine learning. There's also with machine learning. Usage. For example, sometimes you need a very super you need a very large training. So in that case, your niche is going to be dependent on the training data. If you want to generate large training data, is going to be putting a long time on what you're talking. Then when you are doing active measurement, goal is to generate as small packet as possible. Yeah, because if you see the additional columns something, then the ongoing thing continues. They will be graded, they will be strong. So you pursue this.
Thank you. So any thanks for you. So really I'm glad everything will be planned. Thank you, Professor. But you have some way to say before
Well, thank you very much for staying. If you want to get in touch with me, I mean, we have chair, faculty members, will share my email ID. Resources we can with my student in Oslo, so we can do the same. They're very, very happy. But my goal is to have just research that's all having some kind of publications. And the publication, writing everything on the table. Take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Our parents is project.
Second. Oh, okay.